Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be playing a little bit of baseball. This is handcrafted, unique entertainment. So line this up. You can see we have this absolutely beautiful Chicago Cubs board, and in this little pouch we have all the pieces that we'll need. Let's sort them out. These are the silver pieces. Let's put them over here. And then these are the gold pieces. Put them over here. So basically, how this game is going to work, we're going to roll this dice, and we're going to look on one of these two, identifiers. So here is 4 and 5, and if we look over here, that is a pop out. So I take the other team's peg and put it in an out. Really quickly, let's write our team names. Gold versus silver. First inning, gold is up to bat. 6 and a 4. That is an out. So that's 1 out already in the first inning. 1 and a 1. That is a home run. So he makes it all the way home, and they're going to get 1 point so far. 6 and a 1, that is a single. So we're going to move our player over there to first base. Well, again, 6 and a 3, that is a fly out. So that's going to be another out. 2 and a 3, that's a ground out. So that's going to be 3 outs. And the gold team got 1 point. Now, it's the silver team's turn. 1 and a 6. That is a single. Okay. 5 and a 6. That's a sac fly, which all runners advance 1 base. Okay. 6 and a 3. That is a fly out. So that's the first out for the silver team. 2 and a 4, that's an out. 1 and a 2, that is a double. So 1, 2, they get 1 run. 6 and a 2, that is an out. And that's going to be all 3 outs. So in the first inning, both teams scored 1 run. Okay. Now it's gold's turn in the second inning. 4 and a 6. That is an out. Okay. Next we have a 4 and a 5. That is a pop out. Another out. Okay. Next up, 3 and a 3. That is a walk. So he moves up. 1 and a 5. That is pop out. So nothing that inning. Okay. Also, tell me in the comments who you think's gonna win. 5 and a 3. That's a ground out. So already 1 out. 5 and a 2. That is a single. Next up, we have 1 and a 2. That is a double. Next, we have 2 and a 2. That is a double play. So that's 2 outs, and that's going to be it for Silver team. So far, seeming pretty even. 0 to 0. I'm sorry, 1 to 1. Now, Gold's turn. 2 and 2. That is a double play. So already 2 outs right off the bat. 5 and a 1. That is a pop out. So that's it. That is it. Wow. That is the quickest inning I've ever seen on this game. Next up, we have a 2 and a 6. That's an out for Silver. 4 and a 1. That's a walk. 1 and a 6. That is a single. Okay, next up, 3 and a 1. That is a fly out. 1 and a 3. That is a fly out. So no runs this inning either. It's a tough game. Okay. Now it's Gold's turn. 2 and a 5. That's a single. Next up, 5 and a 4. That is a pop out, really. Okay. Next up, we have 5 and a 2. That's a single. Next up, we have 2 and a 1. That's a double. Wow. So already we have 1 point for Gold. 6 and a 3. That is fly out. So still only 1 more out. 6 and a 4. That's an out. So we've got 1 point there. Let's see if Silver can tie it up. Or will they just continue on the 0 streak? 4 and a 4. That is a walk. So move this guy up. Next we have 6 and a 6. That is a triple. I've not seen a triple yet, so that's already a point. Silver's tying it up. 6 and a 4. That is an out. Thought so. Next, 6 and 6. That's another triple. That is, well, that's 2. That's 2 points. Silver takes the lead. That's a single. That's 3 points. 3 points. 1 and 3. That is a fly out. Okay. And that one is also out. So 3 points that inning. What an inning. It's the most points scored in an inning. I'm saying inning a lot, sorry. 4 and a 3. I don't think we've gotten that one yet. That is 4 and a 3. That's a single. 1 and a 1. That's a home run. So that's going to be 2 points for Gold already. 5 and a 1. That's a pop out. 1 and a 6. That is a single. Okay. 6 and a 5. That is a sack fly, so runners advance 1 base. Still 2 points. 2 and a 4. That is an out. Right now, both teams are tied. 2 and a 2. That is a double play. So that means they're out. Darn, that could have been a really good inning, but instead, they just tied it up. Let's see if Silver can hold onto their lead. 6 and a 4. That is an out. 6 and a 3. That is a fly out. And 6 and a 3 again. That's also a fly out. So they will not be getting a chance to tie up. It's hard to maintain the lead. Right now it's tied 4 to 4 in the 5th inning. Alright, Gold's turn. 1 and a 4, that's a walk. So they move up. 1 and a 5, that's a pop out. Next, 5 and a 2, that is a single. It's looking good for Gold. 5 and a 4, that is 5. That's a pop out. Uh-oh. 6 and a 2, that is an out. Could have been really good for Gold. But in the end, they will still be tied with Silver. 5 and a 2. It's gonna be a single. 5 and a 5. That is a strikeout. Okay. I thought the higher the numbers were, the better chance it would be. 1 and a 3. That's a fly out. That's a tough game. 3 and a 6. Fly out. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Top of the 7th inning stretch. I gotta stretch. Alright, 7th inning stretch. Can you stretch with Spike? Look to the left, look to the right, look up, look down, up. No, just stretch your back. And good job. If I'm being honest, I also needed that stretch. Okay. Next, 2 and a 4. That's an out. 6 and a 2. That is an out. Oh no. It's not looking good. 1 and a 3. That's a fly out. Okay, so not really much going on there for Gold. Okay, next. 5 and a 6, that's a fly, so they move up, sadly. I'm rooting for Gold here. 6 and a 1, that's a single. 4 and a 2, that's an out. Okay, 2 more of those, and then 5 and a 6, that's a, oh no, bases loaded. 2. Okay, I'm looking at this right now. They can either, there's a 1 in 3 chance this is something good. It was not something good. Okay, let's see. 6, that there is. Let's see. 6 and 1, that's a single. So they get a point. 3 and 3, that's a walk. So they get 2 points. 5 and a 3, that's ground out. So they get 2 points that round. That was a good inning for silver. And see if gold can find a way to tie it up. The score is now 6-4. 6 and 5. 2 and 1. That's a double. This is so far looking good for gold. 4 and 3. That's a single. So far gold has gotten 1 point. Can they tie it up? 5 and 5. That's a strikeout. 5 and 2. That's a single. That is a single. It's looking good. Bases loaded. They have 1 point on the board. 2 and 3. That's a ground out. That's fine. Still got 1 more chance. They get double ones. That's a homer. 2 and 2. That's a double play. So only 1 point for gold here. Now gold only has 1 more inning to catch up, and silver could make something happen here. That's an out. 1 and 3. That is a fly out. This could be a quick inning. 6 and 4. That's also an out. Okay. So that's that. Next up, 1 and 6 for gold. That is a single. This is the only chance gold can catch up. If gold does not get any points here, then silver wins. 1 and 5. That's a pop out. Okay. Only 2 more outs and that's game over. 5 and 3. That's a ground out. This could be it. 6 and 5. That's a sac fly, so everybody moves up. Okay, next. 6 and 1. That's a single. Bases loaded. This could be huge. 3. That's not a good number. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. There's once again a 1 in 3 chance. Something good. It is not good. That is game over. Silver wins 6-5. What a close game. If you want a closer look at this. There you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you in the next video.